Floyd Little, Syracuse legend, here with Dan Tortora out here at Fort Drum. And to start off there, what it means to you to have the team here, to have Syracuse on at Fort Drum and around these leaders in the community and across the world.
It's great to have a relationship and to be associated with the military. Syracuse University over the years have been really involved with veterans. I think it's great. It's 4 years, I think, that we've had this relationship. I think it's good for the kids that they can see young people who defend our freedoms and they're the same age.
Yeah.
So for them to associate and be with them and to live with them and to eat with them, I've had some military training as well, so I really appreciate the relationship.
When you look back on military training and what could have been your potential future if you didn't come to Syracuse, looking back on it now, what can you say about what you experienced and the fact that you kind of have the best of both worlds? You had some training, you ended up at Syracuse, now you're here at Fort Drum.
I think it's a discipline more than anything else. It's almost like the Hall of Fame mission. The Hall of Fame mission is to honor the heroes of the game, preserve its history, promote its values, and celebrate excellence everywhere. That's our mission. And it's the same as the United States Army. If you look at it, they have a close relationship, a close tie. Celebrating the heroes of the game. You celebrate our veterans. They are the heroes. You preserve its history. We've had great history with our military. Promote its values. The values is courage, integrity, respect, and commitment. Those are the same values as the military. So when I'm a part of both, and it's great for me to be here at Fort Drum, watching our players interact with our military, and to be up here and enjoy the relationship, and that's what it's been for me.
Seeing these players and seeing them grow, a lot of people like to focus on last year, and obviously there were a lot of things, a lot of injuries that happened last year. This is a different team now, and Scott Shafer is, one more year in and knowing what needs to be done. What have you seen from the players? Because you and I share the same value that there is a lot of talent on this team, that there is a lot of heart on this team. So what are you seeing right now?
Well, I see a lot. Well, we should do a better job in the red zone. We have some skilled players on this team. As I look at the receiver corps, look at a couple of fresh running backs, I see George Morrison's going to have this year. Hill is going to make some contributions. Grizzly's back. Such, we should be able to move the ball a little bit better and get into the end zone more often. So I'm confident that we'll have a better team overall than last year. I think the kids are confident, they're crisp, they're enjoying it, you can see the synergy, you can see the continuity, you can see the relationship with the team. It's what teams are built for, and I like this team.
Terrell Hunt, like you said, it looks like he's kind of getting in his zone. Where have you seen him grow the most?
I think in his confidence. I think the fact that he had an injury last year and he was still learning his job, his position. I think he's had a little time to think about it. And he's in a position now to be the leader of this football team. That I commissioned him a year or so ago to take charge. I see him in the huddle, I see him calling the plays, I see him get up and set up and receive the ball. I see a guy with confidence, and he commands respect, and he also demands it. And that's the growth that I've seen in our quarterback.
The H-back position is a weapon that he'll have that's become known as the express back. I want to start there. Do you like that fans decided, all right, H-back's cool, but let's go express back? Do you like that?
Well, it doesn't matter. Erlen Phillips is going to be in motion a lot. And you got to get the ball in the hands of playmakers. We have playmakers on this football team. And we have some people in skill positions. And you just got to get the ball in the hands of these guys that can make plays. This young kid out of New York, Fredrickson. He looks pretty good. Number 22. Number 34. He looks pretty good. I mean, these guys can make a contribution to your team. I like George Morrison. I mean, I've seen him today, and he's running like, boy, he's running from the police. He looks good. And I think if you constantly encourage that kind of play, and you have players behind you that want to play as well, they're going to be encouraged by a player like a George Morrison. He can really have a different leadership role. I think Brisley looks awesome. He looks like the guy that can really make some things happen. So he's going to do well this year. Ben Lewis is going to do well this year. Stephen Ishmael is a great player for us. We got playmakers. The tight ends look pretty good. I just think we'll do a lot better than most people think we'll do.
You obviously came from a long history of Jim Brown, Ernie Davis, to you seeing 44 go through everything that it went through to come back to where it is today. I know you brought up Jordan Fredericks as a kid here, Dante Strickland coming on, and there's other running backs and the potential future for Syracuse, the guys that are here now. Now that you've had some time to chew on the fact that 44 is back and know that it's a piece of this, would you like to see it on the field sooner than later again?
I haven't had any time to chew on anything. Man. What are you talking about? 44 is a tradition.
Yeah.
At Syracuse University. Yeah. I think everybody who is around and who is a part of our history thinks that that's a tradition, and we should have the opportunity at some point, I don't know when that is to see it back on the field. I don't have a problem.
You know that obviously with the number 44 coming back, yourself, Jim Brown, Ernie Davis being honored in a very special way on Syracuse's campus, what does that mean to you to know that there's going to be a statue forever remembering what you've done, who you are, what you mean to this program?
That's huge. I drive by the statues every day. They're still wrapped up. And there's a tremendous emotion that sets in when you think that you would be available for my grandkids and my grandkids' one day. And they're all coming to Syracuse, by the way. They don't have a choice.
Yeah.
My grandkids will be coming.
Your grandson's supposed to wear number 44, you told me?
He was told to hung it up that he'd be able to wear it. I kind of think he's getting too big. He's going to have 3 fingers in the dirt if you don't slow down his growth. He looks like James Winston. He's going to be a big kid. But it means for me, for my family to be here. I mean, they'll all be here. I'll have 15 people to come here. They came for my dedication when they dedicated and named a building in Connecticut after me. That was huge. That's a building with Floyd Little Athletics that are on it. But to have a statue on campus at Syracuse University where all the kids going in and out of the Inslee Center, and Cliff was a teammate of mine, and in fact, and a very close friend, but to see a statue of me represented on the campus at Syracuse University, it's huge. It's really, really huge that I will be here forever. There's no words to describe how I feel about that. I mean, I've seen the renderings. I haven't seen the statue yet. But for a guy like Jeff Rubin to see Shaquille O'Neal's statue being placed and to say, I think it'd be great to have statues like that for our great athletes, and to be the guy who says, I want to help promote that and make a contribution to making that happen. And for the other donors and supporters to step up and say, I want to be a part of that too. For Bill Eggers or Chris Polini to say, I'm in on that. I think it's the right thing to do. And for 15 members of my family to come to say, I want to be a part of the celebration of a statue 9 feet on a 4-foot base of my dad or my grandfather or my uncle, to be a part of that. How can you say anything other than that's going to be a great experience there. I mean, I'm holding back my emotions a little bit because it's going to be huge for me to have a statue. So for Jeff, Reuben, and Jennifer, and Ben, and Nathan, and his kids to say, here's what it takes, I'm in. I want that to happen. I want Jim Brown to be there. He needs to be there. And I want to have a 44 Plaza and hope one day we can have another 44 to join these other three in that same plaza. I can't be mad at that.
And obviously what you've done in your history that's gotten to the point that there's going to be that statue. Schools all across the country don't have the opportunity of having a living legend be there with them, going to their practices, sitting with them in meetings, being a mentor, being a teacher, being someone who can just spread life skills and life experiences. What does it mean to you to be here in Syracuse? I mean, obviously it means a lot to the student athletes, but what do you get from it?
Well, I get a lot because I'm giving back. I'm paying it forward, if you will. They'll remember me for a lifetime, and their kids will remember me for a lifetime. I had a interview with some of the freshmen. Several student athletes had a class for the summer, and they were going around doing a history of all the statues on campus, whether it's the Saltine Warrior or however many statues are on this campus. And now that the new statues are going to be coming up with the three of us, so they were doing a little interview. And then they had a presentation at the Hall of Languages. And I showed up when they made their presentation. And they have all the student athletes in that class who was making a presentation about some of the history, or some of the traditions at Syracuse University, and talking about some of the players. They were talking about Bob Costas, they were talking about Marty Glickman. I mean, the people, Dick Clark, some of the great names at Syracuse University. And they were talking about those people. And I know them personally. So I can stand up and address the whole class and talk about the individual great people that Syracuse University has produced. And what a thrill and an honor it is for me to be considered one of them. And to talk about what the 44 meant to Syracuse, or what the statues mean to me, or what the Ernie Davis statue went up and meant as the first African-American Heisman Trophy winner 52 years ago or so, and what this university and the uniqueness that it has, because it's a family atmosphere. And so for me, what does it mean to me to be able to be an athlete that's considered one of the best athletes from Syracuse University? You know, those words, you can't describe it, man. It's just, for me, it's a thrill to have the opportunity to embrace some of the student athletes who look at me and say, wow, I'm not Floyd. I don't see it that way. I was a student athlete here, walked the same. I'm just a regular person, enjoying my life, enjoying the opportunity to share some of the highlights of that life, and share some of the joy I experienced at Syracuse University, and to be back and have the opportunity to embrace the history, the tradition, and the future great athletes at Syracuse University. I'm living a dream. It doesn't get any better than this.
Can you and Jim honor Ernie Davis, even though he's physically not here? How can you honor him and the opportunities that you get around Syracuse? I mean, obviously you all
Well, I know Ernie's influence. And honoring Ernie is just making sure that anytime the 44 is mentioned at Syracuse University, his name will always be mentioned. That's why it's so important that we continue to have that opportunity to celebrate not just the number, but the tradition. And Ernie is a part of that. So we honor him every time we talk about 44.
And Mark Coyle, obviously Dr. Daryl Gross gave you an opportunity, and now Mark's here. How much do you know about him, and what's the relationship like now, and what do you think about this transition and being a part of what the Chancellor's trying to do at this point?
Well, I like Mark. Mark's one of us. He's a former wide receiver, by D2 school, I think. But he understands what it's like. He's very calculated, makes good decisions. He really is receptive. He's approachable. He's available. He has great ideas that he wants to eventually install here at Syracuse. But I have a great relationship with Mark. I see him every day. He's a little bit different from Daryl. He's a little more quiet, more calculated. But I like him. I like who he is. Herm Frazier. I like Herm Frazier too.
No.
We like Herm?
On charge of it. Been out here too long.
And just lastly, for the Hall of Fame, and you've lost some that are inductees into the Hall of Fame. I know it's been hard on you. I know recently it's been hard to see what's happened, and just honoring them and being by the sides of their loved ones and still honoring them and what you do for the Hall of Fame. Just what you can say about some of those people that have gone on to a better place.
Well, we lost 4 just in the last couple of months. Some very close friends of mine. Bob Sinclair, he's gone. Chuck McNair, he's gone. Charlie Sanders, just recently Frank Gifford. And I lost a very, very good friend who is a Hall of Famer, and Mel Farr. I was at his memorial service last Thursday, and Dave Bing, who is a very close friend of Mel's, picked me up, and I had an opportunity to spend 4 or 5 hours a day. It's challenging when you look at every year we lose 3 to 4 Pro Football Hall of Famers. It's not a good time when you have to go to these services and honor some of your friends that's gone on to a better place. It was many other people at Melbourne's memorial service in Detroit, so I don't enjoy going to those. I have to be there to pay my respects to the family.
Let's leave on a happy note. Scott Shafer, somebody that you've believed in since day one, just what you can say about him and the future.
I think Scott's got a good staff. I think they're very motivated. I like their coaching techniques and style. The new guy, Jake Moreland, just came in. I like who he is and what he does. Bobby Acostas is one of my favorite guys that I like. Tim Lester and Clark and Fred. I mean, he's a pretty good staff members, and I think that they'll do a good job with our players. They're teaching them. They're not only coaches, they're teachers. And this is what I look at in coaches. Scott is a good teacher. Scott's a great defensive coordinator type guy. He's got some good people around him this year, and we will have a better year than we had last year.